There are several concerning bills that are being considered in the state of Illinois. We've talked about some of them. Among them is one on medically assisted suicide, Senate Bill 9. Now, Catholic bishops in the state are calling for unified opposition to the bill, and it has drawn national attention. How close is the state to becoming the 11th in the nation to legalize assisted suicide? Well, here to discuss this, Illinois State Representative Dr. Bill Hauter. He is a board-certified physician who continues to practice medicine at the St. Francis Medical Center in Peoria. He represents the 87th state district in Illinois. Dr. Hauter, welcome to Washington Watch. Thanks so much for taking time to join us.
Good afternoon, Tony.
I'd like to get your take on this bill as a physician. I mean, I think the Hippocratic Oath makes very clear what you're supposed to do as a physician. This would turn that on its head.
Yeah, well, I mean, what we're seeing in Illinois is, I call it liberal progressive FOMO. They see in other states in Canada more liberal policies, and they get a fear of missing out that Illinois doesn't have the most liberal policies. So they have glommed onto this physician-assisted suicide. And I call it, Tony, physician-assisted suicide. I don't call it medical aid in dying. That's what they're trying to call it.
Right.
They want to control the language. We have medical aid in dying right now in medicine. It's called hospice care. It's called palliative care.
Right.
So we have that already, and we don't want physician-assisted suicide. As you mentioned, it goes against our very oath, our sacred oath that we took as healers, as physicians who would be advocates for our patients, try to comfort them, try to control their pain. And instead, again, we see this all over medicine is just like a culture of death. We see this all over, our state policies, whether it be abortion policies. There's just a culture of death, and this is just another example of that.
So this would allow physicians to basically prescribe a suicide pill. Patients can take this. Now, there are some parameters. I think they have to be diagnosed with less than 6 months. They have to be over the age of 18. But the bottom line is still the same. It is ending a life.
Yep.
What's the status of the bill at present?
Well, it's being really they introduced a House bill and a Senate bill, and it's mostly going through the Senate side. And it passed through committee. And again, it's going to be, I think, in my opinion, it's actually going to be harder to pass. There's bipartisan opposition to this, and there's strong opposition from, the Christian communities, Catholic Christian communities, and even the disability community is really strongly against it.
You've had some really, I'm just going to say, bad bills in Illinois this year. What's going on up there?
Well, like I said, it's a liberal progressive FOMO is some of it. And, I call it a tongue-in-cheek, but I call it the Illinois General Assembly, I call it the stupid idea factory. And it's just incredible what they will present. I mean, Tony, you don't see even half of what is, brought up and then just quickly dies because it's so outrageous. But what we have is we have a state that's very much more liberal than its population. And if you look at Illinois, it's mostly like every other Midwestern state, whether you look at, it's very comparable to Indiana, Ohio, Missouri, but then we have Cook County. And so we have a huge population in a very, very liberal, progressive city. And their policies, you can see what their policies do in the city of Chicago, the crime, the schools that are failing, the flight out of Chicago, the high taxes. And so they want to take this, total destruction of a city. They want to take this statewide. And so we're in the super minority in Illinois as Republicans, as conservatives, but we are not a super minority in the state of Illinois. We've been put into a super minority status by unfair maps and media and money and the machine of politics of Chicago.
Well, Doc, let me ask you this question. We've got listeners, viewers in Illinois,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure you could use some reinforcements. What can they do to help out on this?
Well, we saw, I don't know if you have seen this bill, Tony, the homeschooling bill.
Oh, that's the other crazy bill I've been referring to.
Yeah.
We've talked about it before in this program.
Yes, we saw just an outpouring of opposition. The homeschoolers just they came out and they were so passionate. I've never seen the Capitol so full of any advocacy group, and so they filled out witness slips. So what you can do is witness slips, and it's a typical Illinois bureaucratic way of kind of surveying our constituents. We have this process of filling out witness slips, and I'm sure you can direct them online. We have ways, Facebook, to direct you to fill out witness slips as opponents to this bill. That's really big, but also calling your state rep or emailing them and letting them know your opposition to this bill. That's what you can really do. We saw it so effectively work with the homeschoolers, and so we're hoping that it will work again with this bad bill.
Dr. Hauter, we just have about a minute and a half left, but people say, "Well, I'm healthy; it's not going to bother me. I'm not going to use it and kill myself."
Sure.
But this puts the poor, the marginalized, and the disabled at significant risk, and it also creates this culture that you referred to earlier. So we have a responsibility to stand up against this.
Mm-hmm. So true, and I call it the slippery cliff, because it's not a slope, and everywhere it's been tried, it quickly expands, it quickly gets out of control. And you just look at Canada, you look at Oregon, you look at Europe. I mean, it is incredible how quickly it expands, and now I think it's the fifth leading cause of death in Canada. Suicide is the fifth leading cause of death by physician, and now it's offered, and so many people, it will change their relationship with their physician. It will change their relationship if they have any. But the kind of the contract you have with your insurance company. What's the cheapest care? For insurance companies, it's going to be your death. It's going to be the cheapest care.
Excellent point, Doc. We got to leave it there. Thanks so much for joining us.